And we're live. This is Marie's Message 411 TV, coming to you once again with another episode of My Sister's Keeper. Yes, come on in, sisters. Come on into the chat. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Can you hear me? Come on into the chat, sisters. Come on into the chat. Tonight, we are talking about the impacts of fatherless young girls. Yes, that's the topic tonight. Come on in, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give you some time to come on into the chat. Yes, I think this is my third episode of My Sister's Keeper. Yeah. Um this is the happy hour, the cocktail hour. The hour when you take your shoes off, you prepare your favorite drink, whatever that is. You get in your recliner or your favorite chair and you kick up your feet and you just listen to and interact with the live. Good evening, Stacy Ann. How are you? Good evening. Happy Thursday evening to you. Come on into the live, sisters. We're going to talk tonight about fatherless young girls and the impacts of that. We're going to talk about 5 effects of an absent father on a daughter. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And I have my own personal experience that I want to share. And you can share if you feel comfortable. Just know that this live can be a little triggering to some people because of the topic. So I'm just warning you right now. Before we get into the chat, before we get into the 2 articles that I want to share with you, I want to big up some people. So from now on, when I say I want to give a fist bump, it means that I want to big up a brother. And when I say I want to give some flowers, it means that I want to big up some sisters or a sister. So before we get into this third episode, I want to bring you back to how My Sister's Keeper got started, because I want to give a fist bump to SoFlo of SoFlo TV. It was because of SoFlo that I am now doing this live. And there's a sister that also encouraged me to start going live again. And her name is Missy Brum Brum. And she's one of SoFlo's subscribers. And she became a subscriber of me. So there's some people that I want to give flowers to, and I want to give a fist bump to SoFlo because it was his idea for me to start My Sister's Keeper, because he has a show on his channel called My Brother's Keeper. And I took his advice. And when I subscribed to SoFlo TV some 2.5 years ago, SoFlo took me under his wings and he introduced me to his subscribers and to the chat and to his audience. And they welcomed me and they became my family. And SoFlo encouraged them to come over to Marie's Message 411 TV to support me. And SoFlo began to help me and encourage me along with the the members encouraging me to build this platform, this channel. And so SoFlo guided me with his advice, because there are things that I can talk about from my own experience as a woman, and I can reach women better than he can with his advice. Even though he has good advice, he feels that it's better that I have a platform where women can come, sisters can come, and we can discuss these things amongst ourselves. Who I see in the chat right now, um, Prince K. Bummer, Prince K. Bummer. Yay, good evening. Respect, respect. Good evening. Come on into the chat. Come on in. So yeah, I want to big up SoFlo of SoFlo TV, because this all started, this whole live and the My Sister's Keeper started because of his advice, and I'm taking his advice. Now, to give my flowers, what we have to understand is that this is the third episode where I'm consistently going live. This is the third consistent live of My Sister's Keeper. And I've never done this before. And so the members and family, the SoFlo family came over to My Sister's Keeper, to the chat. And so what you have to understand, ladies, the ones who have been here since the first episode of My Sister's Keeper is creating our own history. You are creating the chat, because I can even remember all of the people that was involved in making the chat a success from the first episode until now. Stacy Ann, I want to give you your flowers. Russ Jada, I want to give you your flowers. Miss B, I want to give you your flowers. The Buffalo Soldieress, I want to give you your flowers. If I'm forgetting anyone, please let me know in the chat, because you guys are the ones that are now the founder of the chat, which is My Sister's Keeper chat on Marie's Message 411 TV live show. You are the first creators of the chat. So I have to give you your flowers. Oh, one more that I wasn't thinking about. S Diva, I give you your flowers. You guys came over and engaged in the chat. The first episode was 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. We were on live. And I had never done a live that long. It was so engaging and interesting and educational. So I have to give flowers. And I have to big up my SoFlo family. Good evening, good evening. Happy Tuesday evening. Some of you probably had a rough day. Well, the day is over. Relax. If you have a bullet and you don't drink cocktails, go and blend up a smoothie or something. Get in your favorite chair, put your feet up, and listen to the live. Usually, what I do is I give you the articles. I'll read the articles. And then, hey, the group chat active. Yeah, the group chat is active. Yes, it is. Oh, and click the like button as you enter the live. I don't want to forget that one, right? Please share. I have two articles, and I'm gonna read the articles, and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna discuss it. So the first article, it says the impact of fatherlessness in young girls and women. That's a heavy one for me anyway. Let's see what it says. Let's see where this is coming from. I don't see. Let me see at the top. It says a sisterhood for fatherless daughters. Okay, so that's the website .org. A sisterhood for fatherless daughters. And it says the impact of fatherlessness in young girls and women. Fatherlessness refers to the absence or limited presence of a father figure in a child's life, particularly during their formative years. This absence can occur due to various circumstances, including death, divorce, or separation, incarceration, or the father may be physically present but emotionally distant. So the father could be in the home physically, but emotionally they are distant. Or he may be absent from the child's life due to work-related commitments, substance abuse issues, or other issues. So when they say the father might be absent from the child's life due to work-related circumstances, they might be talking about like the military, because sometimes the father is absent because he is serving some time in the military and he is away from home, overseas. Psychological effects of fatherlessness in girls. Girls growing up without a father, girls growing up without a father figure may experience a range of psychological issues such as anxiety, low self-esteem, and feelings of abandonment. These girls may be more likely to engage in risky behaviors and have difficulty forming meaningful relationships in adulthood. I definitely want to talk about that. Some of the major causes of psychological issues in fatherless girls include feelings of rejection, abandonment, and low self-worth. These feelings can lead to a range of negative behaviors and emotions in adulthood. It's essential to note that not all fatherless girls will experience these psychological effects, and many individuals from such backgrounds demonstrates resilience and overcome challenges with the right support system in place. Emotional impact of growing up without a father figure. The emotional effects of growing up fatherless can be severe and long lasting. Girls may have difficulty trusting others and forming meaningful relationships, and may struggle with feelings of insecurity and worthlessness. So that's the end of that article. Now, let me go to the other article. This one says 5 effects of the absent father on a daughter. Let's see where this is taken from. This is coming from allprodad.com. Allprodad.com. 5 effects of an absent father on a daughter. Number 1, fear of abandonment. The absence of a father figure can instill a deep fear of abandonment. When daughters lack a strong connection with their fathers, they often seek to fill the emotional void elsewhere. Filling it feels so important to them that they sometimes don't notice they're filling it with relationships that turn out to be toxic. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But because they fear abandonment, they'll often do whatever it takes to stay in these relationships anyway. My. Number 2, promiscuity. Promiscuity. This is a word that is not easy for me to pronounce. Promiscuity and vulnerability. Here we go. Promiscuity and vulnerability. Research has shown that daughters with absent fathers tend to engage in more and earlier sexual activity. Kids who are active sexually early have a higher risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV and AIDS. Experiencing unexpected pregnancies and mental health issues, the absence of a father leaves them yearning for acceptance, often leading them down paths of physical intimacy to fill the emotional void. Oh boy. Number 3, lower self esteem. A robust self esteem is essential for healthy emotional and social growth. Without their father's presence, daughters may struggle with self worth, resulting in poor choices, academic setbacks, and detrimental relationships with people who treat them poorly until our daughters believe they are valuable. They won't realize they deserve to be treated better. So until you believe that you are valuable, you will not believe that you should be treated better. Let that sink in. Before I go to number 4, let that sink in. Maybe I should read that again. They are they won't realize they deserve to be treated better. They don't value themselves. That was me at one time. Number 4, anxiety and jealousy. The cocktail of abandonment, low self esteem, and lack of connection can brew emotional challenges like anxiety and jealousy in relationships. The absence of paternal emotional support leaves them insecure, fearing abandonment again. So they felt abandoned by their father. And then they go seeking for a relationship with a man to satisfy the the place that the father was supposed to fulfill, and that person treat them bad, and because of fear of being abandoned again by another man, they tolerate the abuse and mistreatment and toxicity. Because whew, if daddy left me, then I must not be worth anything. So now that this man is with me, I'm going to stay no matter what, and I'm going to tolerate whatever he dish out because I don't want to be alone again. I don't want another man walking out on me like my father did. I don't want another man abandoning me like my father did. You see, you haven't healed from that trauma and that pain. So that's why it's hard for you to let go of someone who is toxic. Because if you took the time to heal from that father pain, first of all, you would have not made that choice, the man that you chose. I'm going to tell you guys in a minute why some of us choose the men we choose, the ones that was raised without a father, like I was. Let me go to number 5 and the final one. Number 5 is skepticism toward men. Listen to this one. The void created by an absent father fosters a negative perception of men. A lack of trust and emotional support taints their view, potentially hindering healthy relationships and professional interactions. Reflecting on these effects of an absent father on daughters has been a transformative experience. It reinforces fathers' pivotal role in their daughters' lives, shaping their self worth, emotional resilience, and worldview. As fathers, we must strive to bridge any gaps, nurturing relationships that empower our daughters to navigate life's challenges without or to okay, let me do that one again. We must strive to bridge any gaps, nurturing relationships that empower our daughters to navigate life challenges with confidence and grace. And that's the end of those two articles. Who else I see in the chat? I need my glasses, right? that look like, what does that say? Pamperlin Iceland, Pamperlin Iceland, or is it Pamper one in Iceland? ah, what is blood? Okay, what is blood talk about? What is blood talk about? Are you trying to say what are we talking about? Well, the topic is fatherlessness among the effects of the fatherlessness for young girls and women. What are the negative effects of growing without a father as a young girl and a young lady? That's what the topic is, if that's what you're asking. I'm having my cocktail as usual. Now, reading these articles brought me back to my own experience of the choices I made in who I chose to have children with. And it made me really realize that what what we are doing, the ones that grow without a father, what we are doing is we are engaging with a man that just has potential. He's not there yet, but he has potential. And we disregards we disregard our morals, values, and ethics, or we have them so low that it's not a requirement to be in a relationship with somebody. So it's like, as long as the man accept me, I'm going to go with him. And then you take his potential and you become Barber the Builder, because you are trying to rebuild that man into who you would have liked your father to be. The type of man that you would have wanted your father to be, you try to instill that in that man in your relationship. And it become a resistance because he resists, because that's not who he is. That's not his makeup. And you're trying to build this man off of his potential, but not following his actions. And so it become toxic. You're trying to use this man to replace the void that you have for what you did not receive with your father. And quiet as is kept, he did not receive what he needed from his father because his father was absent as well. So he can't give you what you're looking for, and you can't give him what he's looking for. And that's why you are so toxic, because you're incompatible. You cannot fill the void of your father not being in your life with going into a relationship with another man and trying to turn him into your father to satisfy that void. It will never work. I tried it. I didn't know that's what I was doing until I read this article. The mistakes we make when we're young, dumb, and full of. Ha! Good evening, Miss B. Welcome, my sister. Yeah, I did some things when I was young, dumb, and full of. Because the funny thing is, my father knew where I was. I was in one state and he was in the other. He didn't make an effort. When I put my father to rest, as they say, certain words I don't want to use on YouTube because I don't want them to flag my life. But when I put my father to rest, I cried that day. And it wasn't because I was crying because we had such a great relationship and we were close. I cried because, and I stood over him before the final ceremony, when you go and view the body. I remember standing over him and crying, and one of his friends asked me, why are you crying like that? And I said to him, I said, I don't even know. My father is dead, and I don't even know if he really loved me. And the friend is telling me that my father loved me because he was always bragging to them about me. But yet he never sent a birthday card. He never called and said happy birthday. He never financially did anything for me. But when I got here, when it's like his whole life, he avoided me, even though I knew who he was. But when he became ill and he was on his last days, it was me that he reached out to. And I left my state and left my children and left everything and came because he was on his last days. And I wanted to get close to him, to find out, to get answers to all the things that I had been thinking about all my life. These are his last days, so I'm going to try and see if I can, talk to him, find out where his mind is before he is no longer here, because that was to me my closure. And I learned a lot in the short time that I spent with him before he took his last breath. I learned about how my father was conceived. And by learning how he was conceived, I understood that my father did not receive love from the time of conception. He was not conceived through love. He was conceived through violation. And then when he was born, his mother and father did not raise him. So how can he now give me love and show me how a daughter is supposed to be raised when he did not have anyone, his maternal father and his maternal mother, to show him that? And that was my closure. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped wondering if he loved me or not. I forgave him. I let it go. I'm at peace with it now. And this wasn't some years ago. This was 2019. This was 2019. This wasn't no long time ago. I'm the one that he called to come in his last days. And this man has never given me a birthday card, never ever called and said happy birthday my whole life. And I was living in another state. I remember when I was getting married the first time, my first marriage. I called my father and offered to pay for his ticket to come to my state. I offered to put him up in a hotel because I wanted my father to walk me down the aisle. This is when I was still believing in Christianity and going to church. This was many years. This was over um this was back in what, 96, when I got married the first time. And I offered all of that for him to come just so I can have my father walk me down the aisle. And he refused to come. He wasn't in another country. We were in the same country, a few hours away by a plane ticket. And he wouldn't come. It was my sister's father who walked me down the aisle. He drove all the way from Washington, D.C., or Maryland, and came to my state and walked me down the aisle. Yes. And I feel like a lot of mistakes I made with the men that I was choosing was because of the lack of guidance and love from my father. And I was seeking that love through that relationship. So, yes, not having a father figure really, like, it really affects young girls, and it affects their decisions that they make. A lot of the mistakes that we make, a lot of us single mothers, if you really check it, a lot of single mothers did not have a father figure, like their own biological father, like consistently in their lives. Some fathers have, okay, let me break this down. Some fathers have passed away. A child can't control that. That's beyond us. Some fathers are in the military, they're serving overseas. We can't control that either. Some fathers are in prison. A lot of them could have controlled that. So there are many reasons why the father is absent. But nevertheless, the fact that there's an absence of a father has a severe negative effect on the development of a young girl and a woman. Her thought process, how she how she how she feels about men. Like, some women don't trust men, and it is because they are lacking, they have a void concerning their father being absent in their life. It is true. There was a time when I did not trust any man. I didn't even There was a time in my life when I didn't even like to see the sight of a man because of some of the trauma I had experienced. And I felt like if my father was in my life, some of the traumatic things that happened to me would have not happened if he was there to protect me. You see, we start blaming ourselves. But what we have to understand is you are the child, they are the adult. They made the decision to do adult things, to procreate and bring you into this world. So take the blame off of you and put the accountability on your father who was not there for whatever reason. And let me say this, the article also discussed fathers who are physically there, but mentally, emotionally, they are checked out. So you have a father that you grew up in a house with a mother and father, but your father was never there emotionally, mentally. He was only there financially and physically. And that is because he probably did not know how to handle that as a father with a girl child. He probably was only taught how to provide for the household, and he felt like as long as he was working and he kept a roof over your head, you went to school, you had all your needs was met, he felt that that was what he was supposed to do as a father. He did not understand that it goes beyond that. So you can have that type of fatherless relationship as a young girl because you're still not being taught certain things that should be taught by your father. So what you end up doing, the one that actually have the father in the home that's physically there and he's a provider, but he doesn't provide anything else, you will actually go out and find a partner that is um financially stable enough to take care of you and your children, but it's like you don't require nothing else of him because that's what you're used to with your father when you were growing up, if that makes sense. Some fathers are in their daughters' lives. Like I made sure, because my father was not in my life, I made sure that my daughter's father was very active in her life, even though we we did not start out co-parenting. We started out together. We planned my daughter. My daughter was not an accident. We were living together before she was born. We had an apartment. We were living together before she was born. We were working. She was not an accident. We planned her. We knew the moment that I conceived with my daughter, both me and her father knew. We lived together and stayed together until my daughter was 2 years old. So let me get that out of the way. But then we ended up co parenting. And in the co parenting process, when the court stepped in and put him in a position where he had to understand how to properly co parent in the United States, he got his act together. And him and my daughter, I made sure that they had a bond until this day. And she is 24 years old to this day. And she has my granddaughter, who is a year old today. And her father are like this. You know what I had to learn? There was a lot of things. I made so many mistakes, and even though I made those mistakes, the blessings that came out of those mistakes, I hesitate sometimes to say to myself, maybe it was meant for me to make those mistakes, because maybe if I didn't make those mistakes, I wouldn't have my daughter and I wouldn't have my granddaughter. Like, but that's me just in my deep thoughts. My daughter's father, if he's a Jamaican, he's from Mobile, and he was the type of yard man that like he loved playing football, soccer, football. So you're always gonna find him on a football field, probably on a Sunday evening, every Sunday evening or wherever. He always got a soccer ball, a football. Him love football, and he loved to go to the club, and he loved to sing. My daughter's father is one of them people like Jamaicans would call a gallus, right? If you know what that means, he's galley galley. I guess, well, I should say when we were involved with each other. That was years ago. I don't know what kind of life he's living now. I don't have any communication with him. I don't know what he's doing in his life right now. So I'm going to talk about when more than 24 years ago, before, like when my daughter was a child. And what I'm learning is that my daughter's father would not teach my daughter certain things, because if he taught her certain things about other men and what to look out for in other men, it would expose what he was doing in order to get me, my daughter's mother, the daughter's mother. Think about what I just said. My daughter, father, would not teach my daughter certain things and certain manipulations and tricks that men out there can do to her, because of the fact that if he teaches her, he will now expose the games, the tricks, the manipulation that he used on someone else's daughter, and he used it on his own daughter's mother, and that's how she came about. So take it from that angle. You can have a father that's very involved in a child's life, in his little girl's life, but there's some things that he's not going to teach her, because if he teaches her, then he will be exposed, and she will be looking at daddy like. So daddy is trying to set a certain standard and a certain example where he want his daughter to see him in a certain light. So he's not going to expose her to the truth of, before she go out into the lion's den, so to speak. And because I'm a smart mama and I'm well aware of the manipulations and the tricks of some of the men in our society, because I'm aware of the pedophiles that are out here, because I'm aware, because it happened to me, I'm aware of what all of this does to a young girl's self-esteem. I try to teach my daughter the things that her father was not teaching her. I started showing my daughter's father certain things to do with his daughter to build her self esteem, so that when she goes out into the world on her first date, the man can't use that date and how much money he spent on that date and the place he took her to intimidate her into anything that she doesn't want to do. Because some men will take you on an expensive date, and because they spent that money on you, they expect happy endings at the end of the date, if you can read between the lines. So I teach my daughter's father, take your daughter out on a daddy daughter date. A daddy daughter date. Whatever restaurant she want to go to, buy her some flowers, open the car door for her, pull the chair out for her, show her how a man is supposed to treat her when he is courting her. And that's what I missed by not having my father in my life. If you promise her something, if you promise that you are coming over to pick her up and take her to school in the morning, be here on time and pick her up and take her to school. Keep your word so that she can start to trust you and understand reliability. Have her understand that she's learning how to trust you as a man, because you keep your word. You show up when you say you're going to show up. If you're going to pick her up from school, if you call me as her mother and you say, don't go pick her up from school, I'll pick her up from school because I want to go take her and buy some sneakers, or I want to go take her and do this before I bring her home, and I say it's okay, then you follow through with what you say you're going to do, and you pick her up from school and you do what you say you're going to do. That's how you build trust with your daughter. So that when she's in the presence of a young man that is trying to court her, even though you teach her that a man is supposed to be financially stable enough to take care of himself and take care of you in case of any emergencies, you're teaching my daughter, your daughter, that you already set a standard as a father as to the restaurants that you have gotten her used to. You have gotten her used to flowers. You have gotten her used to a man opening the door for her. You have gotten her used to a man pulling out the chair for her. That type of respect and attention, it's like she's not gonna want anything less than that, because you're the standard as her father. She's gauging every relationship that she goes into according to what you set as the standard. So if her father make $100,000 a year and her father can take her to Ruth Chris for lunch on any given day, she's not going to be impressed by by a young man that's making $20,000 a year, that still live at home with his mother, because her father already set a certain standard of the type of man that he's living a certain type of man before her, and he's setting a standard for her. And the way that he treats her mother is also a way to show her how a woman is supposed to be treated by a man, and how a woman is supposed to be respected by a man, and the healthy emotional and healthy mental engagement and verbal engagement between dad and my mother. Even though they are not together, I'm able to see that they have respect for each other and they talk to each other with respect in my presence. The two of them are no longer together, but I see that they both are working for the best of my interest as a young girl growing up. And that's what some of us are missing. And I tried my best to cultivate that for my baby girl, and so far it's been working out. Her and her father are like this to this day. And when they get to warring and arguing with each other, I stay out of it, because they break up and make up. That's their thing. But when she have important events in her life, he was there at her college graduation. He was there when she was born. He named her. He counted all 10 toes, 10 fingers. He named her when she was born. He gave her a cell phone when she was 7 years old and started paying her phone bill. And she is grown, living on her own now, and she has her own child, paying her own bills. She have her own job. And from the time she was 7 years old until this day, her father still pays her phone bill. And every time there's an upgrade on the iPhone, he upgrades her phone. So even though I didn't have a bond with my father, I was able to, because of that void, I decided to take it and turn it around into something positive and say to myself, okay, it didn't happen with me, but now that I have a daughter, let me see if I can make it happen with her and her father, in spite of me and that father no longer being together. That father does not have to be in the child's presence every single day of the week, but you'll be surprised what a positive impact it can be on a little girl when she get to go see her father every weekend. And he keep his word. And he's, when she comes, he prioritize and make time for her, and he spends time with her. And he's teaching her things. Mommy is nowhere around, so she have her all to herself, so they can have father-daughter talk. I wish I had father-daughter talk, but I made peace with it because I now know why I didn't have father-daughter. When I was going to church, there was a song that used to say, trials come to only make you strong. It's true. I've lived it. Sometimes certain things I'm skeptical of, and I really don't take heed to it or consider it true or believable like until I actually experience it. So I'll hear a phrase or a word, and it's not until I have the experience that I can put the experience with the word or the phrase and say, yeah, that's a true saying because I've experienced it. Trials come to only make you strong. Or you can also say trials come to make you or break you, because some of us can't stand up under certain things. Some of us doesn't don't have the tolerance to wait till, as Soflo say, it it gets greater later. Some of us are not strong enough to wait till for later. And so we remove ourselves from this planet because we blame ourselves for what our father did or didn't do. Yes, Stacey Ann, it does get greater later. ah, I'm a living testimony that it gets greater later. And trust me, read between the lines. I've had my stomach pumped. I've had to drink black charcoal. I still have the scars on my wrist. Read between the lines. Everything I talk about. I've been there, done that. Ask myself, I ask God, why me? If there's a God, how can there be a loving, caring, kind, all-knowing God allow these things to happen to me? He was watching this happen to me, and he didn't stop it from happening. Oh, I went through a lot of different emotions, and you said glad you are here with us, Stacy, and I'm glad too. I'm glad too. It was meant to be. You know why? Because I'm meeting you. I'm talking to you. So it was meant for me to be here right now. Isn't that awesome? You know what? You know what made me decide to stick around till things got better? A voice in my head said to me, if you can't live for yourself, live for your children until you can live for yourself. Because no one is going to love and take care of them the way you do. And they will forever live with a resentment, and they will start blaming themselves for you doing what you was going to do. And that's how I began my healing. You see, it all starts with that stinking thinking. You see, once you have that stinking thinking, all kind of negative things will come in. You have to change your thought process before anything else can change. If you don't think you deserve better, you won't have better. There, I said it. If you don't think you deserve better, the universe will not be giving you better. The universe gives you exactly what you say you want. So if you look in the mirror and say you ugly and you don't deserve this and you don't deserve that, that's exactly what you're going to get. And until you heal from that father-daughter wound, none of your relationships that you get into, my sister, will work until you heal that empty space, until you heal that void, that baggage you've been carrying around because you feel you've been abandoned by your father. You feel that your father did not love you. You feel that your father did not want you. You feel that you were a mistake. Until you tackle that head on and deal with your feelings, confront your feelings and your emotions and deal with it and get to the root of it and clean it out. Clean out that sore. It's been festering and festering for years. Have you ever seen a pressure sore, a pressure wound? It's just like round like this, and all the inside of the sore done rotted out. It's all yellow and mucousy, then rotted out. All these years, You need to dig that out. It's going to hurt to dig it out, clean it out. And once it's cleaned out, you start filling it with positive thinking, positive action. And that wound will begin to heal. I'm only speaking from experience. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. But if you do something consistently every day, eventually it becomes a pattern. So if you think negative every day, if you speak negative every day, if you live physically negative every day, that's what you will become. So if you start thinking positive, start speaking positive, start living positive, then you will eventually become healed over time. Forgive yourself. Forgive your father. That's where it starts. That's the first step. Before you can begin to heal, you must first forgive yourself and forgive your father. What she say? Stacy Ann say, it is not easy, but if you have that fight in you to keep going and getting up every day, it will get better. Absolutely. It's not easy, but if you have that fight in you to keep going and getting up every day, it will get better. Every day above ground is what? A blessing. Every day that you wake up in your right mind, you're thinking, you're walking, you're talking, you're breathing. That is another opportunity for you to do something positive. Success only comes if you try every day. Success only comes if you never stop trying. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to sign out. Ladies, my sisters, giving up is not an option. So find a solution. Until next time, this is Marie's Message 411 TV, and I am Marie. Thank you all for being in the chat and engaging with me. Stacy Ann, I appreciate you greatly. Miss B, I appreciate you greatly. I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday night. This weekend, I'm flying out to Philadelphia to spend some time with my granddaughter. Today is her birthday. She turned 1 year old today. And so I'm going to go celebrate with her for the weekend, and then I will be back on Monday. Yes. So, another episode of My Sister's Keeper. Be good to yourself and be good to others. And until next time, click like, click share, click the notification bell so you can get updates to my next live. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think. Have you ever been affected by not having a father in your life as a young girl? Please leave your experience in the comment section. And until next time, this is Marie's Message 411 TV. And I must say, bye bye.